going on, everybody, and welcome. My name is Chris, aka RoboPack92, and you are watching/listening to the Backlog Breakdown, the show here on the Shared Screens Podcast Network, where we talk about the things that we've been playing and seeing, even if it's not the most recent kind of stuff. Kind of a shorter panel today. It's myself. We got Alec Bobko. We got Austin Ernst, and we're just going to talk about some of the stuff that we've been doing. It's a podcast-ass podcast for sure.
Totally. Oh, yeah.
It's a good old podcasty podcast.
Basically keeps us from having a 2.5 hour long media club like we did way back when.
Yeah, this is a great way to just kind of get like the not like super hype stuff out. Because I'm not always playing or watching like whatever's the newest shit though too. Like I got Seinfeld on TV right now, you know.
I love that. Totally.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not joking.
I believe you, for the record.
No, and I appreciate that very much. So I figure maybe we just kind of take it around like one little thing, kind of touch on. And so you guys, I'm curious as to how you'll react to this one. Because I know that if I said I was playing a Star Wars game, you'd be like, sure, whatever. But if I told you that I am neck deep in one of the most mobile games ever.
Okay.
So I've been playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is the name.
I've heard of this. I've actually heard of this. There was an ad that came on YouTube. And I was like,
I see ads for it on TikTok all the time.
Maybe it was TikTok.
and it's like one of those like collect a bunch of characters kind of deal. It's waste away your entire life like grinding them all up. Like no, 100%. I've been playing this since 2015.
Whoa! I did not expect that.
I've been playing it since it came out, and I go through waves of it, right? Where I'll drop it for large chunks of time, and then I'll pick it back up. What is Austin? Your question?
I was gonna say, when you started playing this, were you ashamed?
Oh yeah, I spent money on
it too. Okay.
I felt dirty. I bought a Shore Trooper.
Okay.
Which also, because it's a mobile game, it's hilariously pay to win. I mean, like, hilariously pay to win to the point where that Shore Trooper that I bought in 2016 or like 2017 is still one of the best characters I have because it's the only character that I purchased. The rest of them are ones that I've grinded at, and I'm now to the point where my YouTube recommendations are all these people who create like free to play grinding guides and that sort of deal, like ways to be able to get high level characters without paying for them. And I have a problem, but it's not a good game, and I can't stop myself because of Star Wars. You know what I have? But here's the thing, though. I've been working on them for like a year. I finally have the entire Phoenix squad from Rebels.
Cool.
Nice.
Which is sick, and they're really good because they've got all of these, and it's like, despite it being a mobile game, like the actual mechanics of like the combat and the way the mechanics work are really, really interesting. It's way more in depth than you would think from like a mobile game.
Is there like a boost when you get a full squad? Like, is there like a
yeah? So there's synergies between all kinds of different characters, and obviously they'll make like groups of them that are all meant to work together. But you can also kind of play around with it because there's different events where you can. There are certain events where you can only use light side characters together, only one dark sides, and then events where you can mix them and that sort of deal. And seeing the synergies, I think when you can mix your light and dark side characters together is really where it gets super, super fun. Like I know like a big part of the meta right now is Padme, because she has all these support ones, and you load her up with like Darth Vader and Revan and all these other characters, and that's kind of the beauty of it. It is still canon, even though it has all of these expanded universe characters in it, because the idea is that you as a player are in a cantina playing a strategy game in Star Wars, to where it's a holo table, and so you're collecting like holographic cards of all of these characters and then playing games with them in universe.
That's the pitch that got you, isn't it?
Well, no, I saw...
Okay.
I saw that it was a Star Wars game. It was the only one on mobile. I needed something to do in my spare time, and it's a hell of a time sink if you're gonna free to play it. Like, you gotta be on this shit constantly, and you should see. I'll send this to you, Alec. So you can see the free-to-play grind. And just put it right in somewhere in here, so you can see how fucking ridiculous this thing is. It's to the point where I'm working towards getting Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Like that's my goal right now. That's my focus. And that's called a Galactic Legend. He's the highest one. I'm not even max level in the game yet. Now, granted, I know I said I've been playing it a long time. I was not playing very optimally at all. I was just kind of doing whatever. The reason I talk about it is because in the last like couple weeks, I was like, you know what, I'm going to commit. I'm doing this thing, and so I'm all in. And it should take me about a year to get Supreme League Kylo Ren. That's how bad the grind in this game is, dude.
Wow.
And so normally I would be like, that's fucking awful. Who on earth would play this? But there's this really cool community like around like playing this game free to play and kind of sticking it to Capital Games. Although I think Capital Games are fine devs. It's it's an EA game that for mobile, like it's gonna be what it is. Please, Cusco. Please, not right now.
He's shaming you.
He's like, how dare you? I've spent just the one character I've ever bought. But I mean, it is kind of thing where it's like I've got Phoenix Squad, but I can also have Darth Revan, and Kyle Katarn is in the game, and like Star Killer and Darth Talon, and like all these expanded universe characters. They're doing an event right now where they're introducing all of the Inquisitors in the game to kind of tie into Kenobi. Fucking shut up. Sorry, my dog. Like last year, while Bad Batch was airing on Disney Plus, they added in all the Bad Batch characters into the game, who are also one of the best squads in the game, I might add, and they give you almost all the characters free. We love that. That's rad. And so yeah, it's just been fun. I found like these cool YouTubers and stuff that I've been following. That's kind of what I've been doing. It's a mobile game for sure.
I have 2 follow-up questions, if I may.
I have 2 follow-up answers.
You might have answered this already, but are there like really weird unorthodox synergies that like you wouldn't think? Because I know you said they're like events where you can kind of do that, but like, are there like, wait a minute, these two connect kind of a thing? You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure there are.
You don't know?
I'm not at the point where I can really mess around with like super meta characters and that sort of thing yet. What I have noticed though, at least what I've been doing again, because my shore trooper, the one paid character that I bought is actually like really, really great. He's a tank class, so he's got this ability to where he can focus all attacks on him, so that it doesn't attack the rest of the party. But whenever he does that I believe it's called the distract ability. It also heals the party, so he's like a
tank healer,
like tank healer.
That's dope.
And so I dropped Zeb from my party, and I put him in with the Phoenix Squad. To where Kanan and fucking I want to say Ahsoka, and that's not his fucking name. What's wrong with me? Kanan and Ezra like together have a ton of synergy, along with Hera, and Chopper is another tank on top of that who has a ton of distraction
that makes sense.
abilities. And so Ezra like can give the rest of the party like additional attacks. Hera can actually, as long as she's alive, she can revive them all once after they die. And then Kanan can give people like additional shields. And so it's hit this cycle where like the shore trooper heals everyone, distracts everybody, and then Kanan like gives him a shield. So the damage that would normally he would take from the distraction, he just kind of waves off, and they're just all healing each other and dealing like extra attacks through Ezra over and over again. And I was like, that's cool. Like I never would have put that sort of thing together. So it's like if you spend a little time and have access to more characters, like you can kind of mess around with all these really cool abilities and strategies and stuff. I'm surprised at the depth of it, legitimately.
Totally. It sounds kind of like Star Wars Final Fantasy in a way, or like that style of game where you have a party, one's a healer, blah blah blah.
Yeah. It's a lot like that. There are all these like different classes and those sorts of things. And yeah, there's definitely like synergies. Like if you have like a group of Jedi, like the Jedi are all going to have stuff that'll kind of naturally work together, or like a First Order team or an Empire team, like that sort of deal. And so yeah, it's fun. It's if you kind of just want like a quick shot in the arm of some Star Wars, like it's not a bad way to go, legitimately.
There you go. My last question, you can answer it quickly. Is this more of a shot on the games of this year that you're playing this mobile game and you're enjoying it the most, or is it just that good of a mobile game?
It's a little of both.
Okay,
it's a little of both. Yeah, no doubt. All right, well, Alec, what have you been playing, man? Is it or even a watch, or what is it? Mobile game? What's up?
Well, I'm gonna start off with actually the first, I guess, official review we had of tERRORbane, which was game. It's an RPG, fourth wall breaking, very funny game. It's weird though because it classifies itself as an RPG, and this is something that you can't get across in a 60-second TikTok or short.
Mm-hmm.
But there's actually a lot of like puzzle elements in this game because you're trying to find these bugs, and like they say it's like the feature list, but it's really a bug list, and you use those bugs to try and like basically proceed through the game. And while the minute to minute gameplay is like an RPG, there's parts of it where you just kind of get to that minute where you're trying to find the bug that'll help you proceed through the rest of the game. And without giving too much away,
you're breaking the game to progress, kind of a thing.
Basically, yeah.
That's cool.
Like there's one of the battles against the main villain where it's like an old school, like very like Final Fantasy like 4, 6 kind of gameplay, and you're in a spaceship and the main bad guy's like following you, like you're chasing after you, so you go out on like the deck behind the spaceship and fight him, and there's literally an attack that you have. It's called break, like BRAKE, like you're gonna break your car, or hit the brakes. And it's literally your character goes up to the front of the ship, hits the brakes, and he slams onto the back of the spaceship. Does just a ton of damage, and it's it's just funny stuff like that. And there's a ton of
they're leaning into
homages.
It. Love it.
Exactly.
Love it.
And like there's literally a item you get. It's a hook, and there's a solution to the game, or in the games where, in parts of the story where you use this hook and you're literally just pulling apart the level to just proceed. Right. And like
that's the whole reason you get the hook.
Pretty much. And not the beginning, like it says like, hey, you can use this to like pull levers and just solutions to puzzles and that kind of thing. But like one of the solutions took me forever to get because you have this one security card that works for certain gates, but you need to get a different colored security card to get through the gate to proceed the story. The way you get through that gate, you pull one of the gates of the card you have and put it over the gate of the color you don't have.
Love it. Love it.
So it's on PC and Switch. Haven't looked up what the pricing is on it yet. But it only took me a couple hours to beat, so you can, get through it pretty quick. But like I said in the review, it actually encourages multiple playthroughs, so you can find all the bugs.
And then, how long does it take to like run credits or whatever?
Like I said,
beat the game.
Just took me a couple hours to get
through. Total.
To get through the first run.
Okay, gotcha.
But then they literally give you like a warp zone to get through any like part of the game you want. So
that's smart. That's conscious. They know the product they made. I like it.
Mm-hmm. And there's one of my favorite parts of the game was like the dev like constantly talks to you, like do at the beginning of the game. Okay. And there's this one part where you just absolutely destroy this game. Like, I mean, like basically like it's just the game, just like you see like the Matrix basically. And you see the dev's desktop.
Oh.
And you're able to go to the internet browser and go to like an old school looking like Facebook my school or my MySpace page. And you're able to like update his status. So I literally just put stuff. And then like at the end of the game it like goes back, is like, I don't remember writing that.
I love that. That's incredible.
Callbacks. That's awesome.
So yeah, and a ton of video game homages too. Like there's literally a moment where this old looking dude just pops up and it's like a Pokemon start. There's part of the game where it's like, oh, we'll catch you up on this. Which ending did you like? And it was literally like pick red, blue, or green.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So, and there's literally like a Fallout vault in this.
It's a must play now.
That's how you get them, yeah.
So it's a must play. So PC and Switch. So I liked it. I enjoyed what I played of it. So
I'm gonna look up the price.
Yeah.
I played a couple hours of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which Borderlands for me.
I've been wanting to ask about that.
Yeah,
how do you like it? How
I'm
far are
loving
you?
It. Maybe
real quick.
Yeah.
$16. Does that seem like an adequate price?
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Play tERRORbane.
Great price for that.
We recommend.
Yes. But
Thank you
Tina's
for. I
Wonderlands.
believe they reached out to us, right?
Yes, they offered
Yeah,
us a code.
thank you guys. We appreciate that.
The
Very
PR team
flattering.
did.
Yeah.
Yes. So Tiny
So
Tina, I
Tiny
played a few hours. Decided to go with the Clawbringer class, which is basically like a Titan from Destiny. You literally have a
Oh,
hammer,
now you're speaking my language, baby.
and then or his like secondary ability is you throw the hammer like Thor, and you can call it back.
Kratos?
And or Kratos, I guess, yeah. And then the other thing that got me to pick that class, you have a Wyvern companion, a little dragon dude.
Oh,
I love
Yeah.
companions in games. I don't care what it is.
There's a few classes that do have companions, so you have a few to pick from. But man, for me, Borderlands, it's always been like since Borderlands 2, it's just been that comfort gaming food for me. Where it's like I can do long gaming sessions in it, or I can just play a mission, get 20 minutes out of it, pop out, be good. You know, just that good gameplay, nice loot.
Does it feel different enough? Like from past
really.
Borderlands? Because I've tried 1 and 2 and it did not do it for me.
It's very similar to 3. So if you
The one I didn't play.
enjoyed,
Cool.
well, I'm saying it's 3. They're all similar to each other. They don't really do anything radically different. Like this, the thing about this one that's cool is if you like Tiny Tina and her character, you'll love this game because she is the one who like narrates this.
Ashley Burch, right?
Yes,
Ashley Birch.
She's great.
phenomenal job. And
So
also,
so correct me if I'm wrong, but the entire concept is that it's like a game of
D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons within Borderlands,
Yes,
right? Okay.
So
Kinda
Tiny
like
Tina
the
is like the
Borderlands
dungeon
2 DLC.
master. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad. Exactly the same concept.
Wait,
Oh,
is this
dope, okay.
just like Borderlands' Blood Dragon? Where they just kind of did like a really different thing. I mean, it's not as different, but there was like a DLC.
Gameplay is not different, but like
you know what I'm saying?
there's So
Well,
like there's a
yeah, it was actually I think that's a great way to put it.
So like this is very early on in the game, like in the first hour or so. There's a part where you have to get through or destroy these trebuchets, and Tiny Tina's she's just like, here's some C4. And because you have 2 other companions that they're not actually in the game, they're just like with you at the board.
Table.
At the table, yes. Anyway, you have Wanda Sykes, her character, and then Andy Samberg. So they're just commentating along with Tiny Tina in your ear. The entire
I love it. And isn't the
It's
villain also
great.
voiced by Will Arnett?
Yes, and all 3 of them are amazing.
He's doing something.
Yeah. So
I'm so here
there
for
is-
it. That's incredible.
And the cool thing though is that part with the C4. Wanda Sykes' character is just like, Tina. It's like, shouldn't we use something a bit more like fantasy-esque? And Tina's like, oh, yeah, you're probably right about that. And then so like you see the C4 disappear, and then it comes back as Fantasy 4.
Oh my god, that's incredible!
That shouldn't have got me as much as it did. But
I love that.
What that tells me is that they're conscious about that. They're like, if we just
Yes.
stuck with the C4, they would have had that question. So let's pose that question in the game. Like I
Yes.
love that sense of consciousness in games.
That's fucking
Like
incredible.
they know what they're doing with this game, and I'm loving it.
From the outside
go
in,
ahead.
it did look like a fun project. Like here's something different. Like let's just be a little different now that you're not, you don't get too much in the same level, same headspace all the time.
Yeah, so as somebody that had played that initial like expansion to I believe it was Borderlands 2,
Yep.
that it's the same concept. I really enjoy that. So this kind of looks like it just kind of triples down on everything.
Just that
from there.
dial up
So
to 10,
I did want to because you mentioned that the class you picked was called the Clawbringer.
Yeah.
So I was like, what are the classes in this game then?
Yeah.
And I went and looked them
They're
up.
great.
And I'm very
They're great.
excited. I'm very excited about this. So I'm gonna quickly go through these. So
Okay.
so the first one is the Berzerker. Berzerkers are tenacious, frost-infused bruisers who complement their firepower with the night. So it's literally like Burr, I'm Chili Zerker. Yeah, then you have the Clawbringer. You have a Graveborn, which is cool. It says Death Touch acolytes sacrifice health to unleash devastating dark magic. You have the Spell Shot, who are gun-toting wizards, which I'm like,
I almost
fuck
went
yeah,
with that
dude.
one. I almost went with that one.
The coolest sentence anyone's ever said.
Then you have the Spore Warden, masters of nature who summon tornadoes and launch valleys of arcane arrows.
Cool.
And you
then
have
finally-
a mushroom companion too, because some of these have
Dope.
companions too.
And then finally, and I think this is my favorite of the class names, the
Yeah,
Stabomancer.
Yes,
that
that's basically like your
Love
like sneaky hunter, like
would be me, probably.
you go invisible. Yeah.
Yep, that's me. I'm a coward. Hello.
Oh, the Stab.
I think
It's
the
so
grave,
good.
All
the
of that
grave
cut out
one. I
for
know
me.
he has a little.
I just heard, ah! Oh!
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. I think I know the Clawbringer has the wyvern. The mushroom dude has the or Spore has the mushroom dude,
Mhm.
and then I think the grave, whatever that one was, has one too.
Says it has a Demi-Lich companion.
Dang
Yes.
it. The sneaky guy doesn't have a companion? That might change my
I don't think
what I
so.
would go
Nah,
with.
he's done. And he's like, uh-oh.
I'll say one cool thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but there's been some times where I've been in that because Borderlands has that second wind when you get knocked down, you beat an enemy, you pop back up.
Mhm.
I think the companion can get you the second wind. Can like because there's been times where I haven't quite killed an enemy, but I just pop back up, and it's like, oh, my
Interesting.
wyvern dude must have like killed somebody.
Like, aha.
So
Awesome.
Interesting.
so companions help, especially when you're playing solo.
Yeah, cool concept. I love the vibe
Yeah.
of it. The art style is really neat too.
Yeah.
And from the gameplay footage I've seen, like it is like a really cool like mixture of like fantasy meets
Fantasy
first
and
person
Borderlands.
shooter. Yeah. Which
like
is
the pistols
cool.
in this game are literally just like crossbows, little crossbows.
I imagine it's a lot of crossbows.
Not really. Like there's like legitimate, like almost Hyperion weapons in this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's
there's
still
legitimate.
guns.
Yeah. Yep.
That doesn't make sense. There's guns in D&D.
A lot of shotguns. So many shotguns, especially early on.
Love it.
That's
but
cool,
yeah.
man.
And a couple other quick things. Been binging through Attack on Titan. Got through almost every dubbed episode that's available on Crunchyroll. Up to episode 80. So, and let me tell you that last opening of season 4 is called The Rumbling. Chris, let me tell
Signal me
you.
when we're out of spoiler territory.
Oh no, I'm not talking spoilers.
I've only seen season 1, so like
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah. So I'm just talking about spoilers just because I know people have been watching through that, going back and watching it lately. But I'll just say, go on YouTube and search Attack on Titan, the Rumbling opening. And ooh.
Like the theme
Chris,
song?
The theme, yes. Chris, you will enjoy that a lot, I think. But this season's just been so hype. Some people have been complaining like, it seems like kind of weird stuff going on. But me, I'm just like, I'm here for the hype. So I've been enjoying it. And
I do have a
go ahead.
spoiler-y question. So Chris, mute real quick, and then we'll warn the viewers. Okay. Have you got to the spoilers? Have you got to the death? There was a key like a fan favorite death.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm very late in the season, so
Okay. So, oh man, when that happened, I started
Yeah.
crying, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I crying? This can't be happening right
Mhm.
now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just had to know.
spoilers done. We're good.
yo, this rumbling opening is fucking sick.
I told you. Yes.
This is sick as shit.
Yeah. And then the last thing.
I pulled it up while I was like, I'll just go listen to this real
Yeah.
fast. This is
Perfect
dope.
time.
Yeah. But the last thing with how crazy this game release schedule is this year, I've also been having the little itch because it seems like about maybe once a year, once
get
every
that
other
looked at?
year. Yep. To go back and play Persona 5 Royal. And
It's a big
I don't have
itch. the
time to.
That's a
That's
whole ass
a
rash,
rash.
bro. yeah, we were there, baby. We were there.
Yeah. So I I don't have the time to go back and play that because it's a big game.
Big game.
Marsh. Marsh.
So
I want to play that game so bad, but I always get to like the third or fourth palace, and I'm like, I can't. Like, I just can't do this.
yeah. So instead, what I'm doing, because I don't have a lot of time after work, but when I'm at work, I have 8 hours to fill of podcasts. And there's a podcast that Jonathan Dornbush and Tom Marks did last year. It's called Take Your Time. Take Your Time.
Got it.
A Persona 5 Royal podcast. And literally, they go week by week through the game. I started it this past Monday, and I'm already on episode 12.
It's a good idea. I started listening to it when I was playing Royal when it first came out, and then I stopped playing Royal. But like the podcast really helped, honestly.
Like they're all about an hour 15 in length, and yeah, it's been great to since I don't have the time to play it, but I have plenty of time when I'm at work to just listen to podcasts. So
when you started talking about your time at work, I thought you were going to say somehow you were playing Persona 5 Royal at work, and I'm like, Alec, don't do it.
No,
I don't have any consoles.
It's not
work,
worth it.
And the Wi-Fi sucks. So.
Oh no, that checks out. That's typical.
But yeah, that's all my stuff. So I actually got through in a podcast there too. Don't get to do that too often.
Hell yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah, you're up, baby.
Okay, I'm just gonna rapid fire some things I've been watching. I still watch The Walking Dead. Yes, I am currently watching The Walking Dead, and I am up to date.
The Walking Dead is still on television.
They finally, I think like 2 days ago, they wrapped filming. so yes, it's still on television. I started. I haven't watched all of it, but I watched the first like 3 or 4 episodes of a show called From on Amazon Prime. I don't remember the main actor, but you're just in this village that you can't escape from. Like you try to leave, and you find yourself back. Like the road is never ending, kind of a thing. And there are these humans that come at night, and you have to board up your house, your windows, and all these things. Or these humans that are no longer, they're humanoids. They look and appear like just normal people, but they will rip you to shreds. To what the only thing that's left are literal bones and guts. So literally, they just have to live every day trapped in this village until they figure out how to like break this curse, essentially. And I enjoyed what I saw. Like the last thing I remember is that someone broke a law, and there's a sheriff in the town, and he doesn't want to do this. He's conflicted about it, but as punishment, he locks this guy in like a cage in the middle of the village, and then lets night come, and they do their thing, and like that's to show like you cannot break the rules. Like this is what will happen. But there's a lot of like character dynamics where it's like the sheriff is trying to put on this face where he's a tough ass, but he's struggling. He is not okay. And the family that just gets there, they like crash an RV, and the like conflict in the first couple episodes is the town doctor has to stay in the RV with them at night. So this guy's the kid's dad, because there's an injured child in there, he confronts these humans for the first time, and they're trying to get in. And he's like, "Oh, I'll let them in. Like, I don't know what's going on." And they're like, "Don't let them in. Like, you will die." And they're trying to convince him, and this guy has no idea. And it like trying to get that across, like, we need to save your son. If we let them in, like, we will all die. And there's like these totems that if you put a totem in the structure that you're in, they can't get in. But if the totem falls and you don't have the structure boarded up enough, you're done. Like it's very creepy and interesting, but not necessarily like horror, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I haven't finished it yet though. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Cool.
I'm watching a show called Winning Time on HBO Max.
I've heard about that. I want to watch that.
This is a must-watch television. Okay, I don't know how to explain this. This is like cinema. Like they have like this is gonna. I'm not the greatest. This isn't gonna be the greatest pitch for it. But it's like take The Last Dance, right?
Yep.
But it's not a documentary. Like they have real actors that are doing these things, and they're following Magic Johnson at the early time of his career and the rise of the Lakers. But they lean into the craziness of LA. Like there's so much about just like boobs. There's so many boobs in this show, I'm telling you. And they lean into, and like the first thing you see is like the controversy with Magic Johnson. Like I'm not super, but like AIDS, like that was a thing at that time, right? That Magic Johnson had AIDS. And the first thing you see is like him confronting that and figuring it out at the hospital, and then it cuts, and it's like, I don't know, 2 years before this, so we don't know, but we're seeing all that story play out. But they lean into this being cinema, and they have the film grain where it looks like nostalgic and old, and they have all these like huge characters, like the coach from the I guess it would be the early '80s, maybe. That sounds right. Winning Time.
Winning Time.
And it has John C.
Yeah,
Riley
okay, yeah,
as
yeah,
the
yeah,
lead,
yeah.
and he's
Oh,
amazing.
really?
I think he's the writer of the show too.
This show goes places. When I say this, it is must-watch television.
Okay.
The only thing I don't like about it is it's one episode a week, so I can't binge it.
Now that you bring
it
it up, yeah, I remember seeing ads for this and being like, oh, I'm gonna put that on my list. I didn't realize that was already out. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
It's great. Yeah. It's must-watch.
Cool.
Super into it.
Add it to my list.
I watched the new. You should. I watched the new Netflix movie, The Adam Project, with Ryan Reynolds. That movie's fine.
It looks fine.
The entirety of the budget is getting Ryan Reynolds. Like I guarantee you, there's nothing. Well, there's a few cool. Honestly, the best part about the movie is when he meets himself younger, because that was in the trailer. He meets his younger self, and then you see the kid figure it out, and then the rest of the movie is just generic action movie. Yeah. But the coolest part is them like putting it together and like the intricacies in that. Like that was cool. But other than that, it's just like there are some cool action scenes, but that's about it.
Sure.
There is a you might see this on TikTok. There is a really really funny Mark Ruffalo punch to Ryan Reynolds. Like he does like like he's just like this comical punch, and it was all over TikTok for a day. But yeah, that's there. So if you want to see Mark Ruffalo punch Ryan Reynolds in the weirdest way possible, watch the movie, I guess. I'm also watching Attack on Titan. I'm up to date. That show is good, but unpopular opinion, this is what it was at when in season 1, and this is what it's going. It's getting worse. In my opinion, it's still good. I think it's like spoiling what it had, but that's just me. It has me hooked with certain characters and stuff, just like Daryl in Walking Dead. So I'm still watching it. Whatever. One Piece. I'm still watching One Piece. I'm on episode 1.
You'll be watching that until you die.
1012. Let's go. I watched this show. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about One Piece. It's great. It'll have the goofiest moments you've ever seen. Yeah, the games are never good. Pirate Warriors is good if you like Dynasty Warriors kind of stuff. But One Piece has the coolest fight scenes and the coolest lore, but also has the like most womanizing shit. And I'm like, ugh, I can't do that. But it also has some like really weird comical stuff that like you can have like comical scene, 8 seconds, dopest fight you've ever seen for 2 minutes, and then womanizing, and you're like, God fucking damn it! Like, stop. Yeah, that's One Piece in a nutshell. And they're pirates, if you didn't know. They're great. I watched a show called Pieces of Her on Netflix. It's about this child being raised into witness protection, but she didn't know. And the whole thing starts out with like there was an incident where the mom's face gets put back on television for like the first time in like I want to say like 25, 30 years or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then the person that they were hiding from sees that, and that just causes a chain of events where the child, who is now like our age, realizes like, okay, my entire life is a lie, and all the people she thought were family are just like not secret agents, but they're the witness protection people. Yeah. So like everyone she thought were like legitimate family, no, like her whole life is just unraveling. It's all a lie to protect her and her mom about something that happened. I think it's really well done.
That's cool. That's a cool hook.
Cool concept.
Yeah.
I won't mention too much about this, but Moon Knight, I watched it. We have an entire episode 1 like recap and what we think about it, and it's great. I think it will. You know, it's funny. I haven't watched it yet. Okay, I won't say too much, but the way they're portraying it is that I think there's a lot of setup at the beginning, in my opinion. I think I was an unpopular opinion.
With a character like Moon Knight, I don't think you can. I don't think there's much else you could do. Like that's a hard character to just kind of, you can't just drop him in like he's Spider-Man. Like there's a lot going on with Moon Knight as a character. Agree. So yeah,
how I described it on the episode was like it's a very typical pilot where it's just like boom, we're establishing this, and then one little tease at a cool thing. So like the episode itself isn't all that enticing, but you see what they're doing. You see the little pieces, little crumbs that they're planning. Cool. That's not how that works.
I really enjoyed it.
Done with that.
I watched Next of Kin, like the latest Paranormal Activity movie. Yeah, I don't know why, but I did. And if you watch that as just a scary movie, it's great. If you watch it as a Paranormal Activity movie, it's fine, I guess. But as just a scary movie, it's good.
Movie. Okay, hold on.
It's about like this secret cult that's not actually a cult, and they're just I don't know how to explain it, but it is like the camera angle that you're used to, where it's all on a
Paranormal.
like a videotape.
I didn't know Paranormal
And
Activity was still going.
yeah, it is, and this is a solid 7. I'm telling you, right, 7 out of 10. It's good. There are very
That's
few
so
moments
strange.
that are
Okay.
like scary. It is a lot of like ambiance and ooh, this is getting spooky. And
I think
there's a
Paranormal
really
Activity as a movie is better when it's not shit's flying everywhere. Like, you know.
yeah yeah. I think like literally if you just go into it thinking scary movie, I like
Cool.
camera angle on a camcorder, that kind of thing. Like it's good.
Yeah.
It's like a solid. It's a good 7. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I watched that. And then okay, to my games. I finally beat Eastward. I beat that like
Nice.
Oh,
last
cool.
month. That's an indie by Pixpill. Chucklefish are the people who what's the term? Published it.
Produced
Jesus.
it, published it. There you go.
Yeah. That game is like an action adventure game. It's like the most stylistic indie game I think I've seen in a long time, and that's saying something for indies because like that's what indies do. Like it's great. You're this guy named John who can't talk, or he just doesn't. He might just be mute. I'm not sure. But you come across this child, and you basically raise them. And this child, you're living underground because you're told don't go up top. Like you'll die. It's scary. And she's just like nah. And she goes up there, and he's like fuck. So he chases her up there, and then the whole story that you have no idea about unravels, and the storytelling is pretty good, I would say, because you realize that this girl might not be human or is kind of like made in a
Oh.
lab, something like that. Anyway, and people call her mother, which is really weird until you figure it out. But yeah, and they're like really cool characters. You meet like this samurai chick that is like straight out of Kill Bill right at the beginning, and you're like, oh,
Cool.
you're the coolest character I've ever seen in my life.
I'm in.
Dope.
Character writing is really good. The puzzle, like the actual gameplay itself, is like kind of like just a hack and slash, like top down kind of a thing, and you're like an RPG because you collect
Okay.
things and you can cook. Cooking is really cool, and there's like a mini game for
Oh, yeah.
cooking, and there's always like a really dope song when you're doing it, and I love it. This game's great. This is like a solid. If I had to put a rating on it, just to get a little pitch here, it's like an 8.5. Like it's a great game. But the combat and the puzzles that are there can get repetitive. So like that's the biggest knock. If you really like the combat and you really like the puzzles, you're gonna love this game. But it is a lot of the same stuff. So. And it's
Pulling
like
up the Eastward cooking jingle right now.
it's good, right?
Oh, it's good.
It's really good.
I'll check it out after the recording.
All right, it reminds me a lot of the cooking jingle from Breath of the Wild, but longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is relevant because this game
that's a plus. The Breath of the Wild cooking jingle. Dope.
Exactly.
This dope.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
all the music in this game is great. Every jingle that's there is fantastic. 10 out of 10. But you said that the jingle is longer. That's relevant because I thought this game was going to be like 12 hours. This game took me like 30.
Oh wow.
But I think that's the only reason why everything felt repetitive. So I really think if they just made it a
Trim the pad
solid
a bit.
15 to 18, I think this game would be freaking fantastic. But they had too many characters and they really wanted to tell the story and I totally get it. They are going for something, like they want to intricate, like it kind of feels like an anime, like the way they're portraying the characters, like it kind of feels that way, or at least like a Ghibli film in a way. So
Ooh, okay.
I had that same feel
Okay,
with
I see you.
that game I played last summer, that Crease Tales.
oh sure,
I dropped that thing, sorry, because it's that same thing. The combat was just so repetitive, and it was like the same enemies. There was like no variation in what you're fighting, and it's the same combat style, same enemies. It's like I'm like 10 to 15 hours in, and I'm like, I'm done.
They're telling a compelling story, but sometimes it's not always wrapped in the best stuff. I think Eastward does enough to make you beat it and get to the end. So Eastward's great. Like if I would have beat that the year it came out, it probably would have been in my top 5. So
dang,
keep that in mind.
Yes. All right.
And then I've tried keyword Return of the Obra Dinn. Have you guys heard of this?
Yes. I haven't
That
played
game's
it.
dope.
I've heard of it.
That game is dope because the only thing you're doing, the art style is I don't know how to
It's like
explain
black
that
and
art
white,
style, but
almost like Game Boy-ish.
yeah, it's like I'll look it up. There's a certain word for it.
Sepia.
I mean that's the color.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. That's a lot
The
of people
look,
call it
the
like
filter.
sepia tones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that covers it, I guess.
Yeah.
you come across this boat, and like it's this famous boat where like it's finally discovered, and there's a bunch of deaths on board. You just find these carcasses, and every time you come across a carcass, like you hear like the last moments of this person,
Ooh,
and you're
an echo in
piecing
the forest.
together who they are and how they died. Like that's your goal. So literally, all you're doing is hearing audio, and then you'll get a film kind of what happened. They're kind of like stills. So you'll see like no one's moving, but you'll see like a bullet from a gun moving slowly, kind of a thing. And the art's dope. So you get clues by like one death. They'll be like, have you? I'm sorry for what I did to my child blank, like the name. So you're like, oh, you're a mother, or you are the mother to this child. I don't know who this child is yet, but like you piece together who is who by doing that. And again, your goal is to find out who they are and how they died. And like at one point, there's like a kraken thing that happened that attacks the ship, and like some of the deaths are like crushed, and then you click crushed, and it's like crushed by this, or crushed by this, and you're like fuck, and it won't let you guess a name unless it's given you enough information. Like if you can try, you can like force it all and just do willy-nilly, which I haven't done that,
Force your way
but
through it.
yeah, so I don't know if there's like a repercussion for that, but yeah, the game is really really interesting. Like I think it's worth your time. Kirby came out, so I started playing Kirby instead. But Kirby's great too. Kirby is like I'm playing it in like 45-minute chunks, like once a day, and I think it's perfect for that. It's just a good video game. Like it's like Mario Odyssey Light, and I think that's the best thing I can say about it. Like I don't think it's gonna wow you. I think the only way it might wow you is if you're like, this game is this good, huh?
Right.
Okay, cool. Like it's just a sound package.
Yeah.
Nice.
I enjoyed what I played of the demo, but I'm just like, There's a lot of other games out that interest me a lot more. So
totally. Fortunately, I don't have a lot that interests me right now, so Kirby's my game.
I feel you on that, and that's kind of where I'm at. And I guess it's on me for just being like, I've been playing a mobile game and then pass it on. I've been playing and watching other things. I promise. And I know we're coming up on towards the end here, so I'll kind
I
of.
would have loved if you never covered anything else. You just covered the mobile game.
Only the shitty mobile game that I love to death. I have been playing Elden Ring. I don't love it. And it's not that I dislike like Soul style games either. I've played Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, and in fact playing this has made me be like, yeah, I'm going to pick up Sekiro. Mostly because I strongly dislike kind of the Souls approach to open worlds. Like I legitimately I'm not crazy about the big hook of this game, which is that it's open world, because part of the Dark Souls experience is just that the game doesn't tell you shit at all ever. And I'm just like, I'm not the kind of person to devote all of my time into a game that I don't know if I really love yet. And so I think the combat is really fun and excellent. Like my issue isn't that the difficulty of the enemies is bad. It's just it's the obtuseness of everything else around it that I strongly dislike. And there's also I'm at a point in the game where there's a weird jump in difficulty, like even for a FromSoft game, to the point where everything one or two shots you, even though like you're really high level and stuff, and that's just not fun.
Couldn't you just like run away and do something else, or is that not how it works?
Not in this area.
Huh.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm kind of stuck in it. I could get the fuck out of there, but I mean I would have to grind for a long time, I think, in order to kind of, and the idea is that it is supposed to be like this kind of difficult thing. It's just that getting two shot by an enemy like the moment you come in does not make me want to make the trek to go all the way back in there to try and learn his patterns more. I don't have a problem dying to enemies multiple times because you're learning them and doing this sort of thing. But if you're dying the first like 2 minutes of a fight, because you're like, it shot 5 giant lasers that you can't avoid at all, and I'm just like, fuck you, man. Like there's a level of difficulty that's just not fun.
Sure.
And I'm not there with it. I'm sure Chance would disagree, but I'm not feeling Elden Ring so far.
Were you going to jump into it right away, or was it the praise that it got that made you jump in when you did?
I was never planning on jumping in right away. I was gonna attack it later when there was more information out, like I usually do from soft games. Because I'm super not above just looking up what I need to to get through a FromSoft game. Because again, that's kind of like how you play FromSoft games, and I've never loved that either. I don't know why I abuse myself like this, because I think the combat is legitimately very, very fun, and that keeps my stupid dumb monkey brain coming back to it for more. Because getting a critical hit or and a parry just feels so fucking good. But what it did do was make me mad enough to be like, I'm gonna go play a game that I'm good at, which is I've been playing through Fallen Order again. Because I want to stream it this year before Fallen Order 2 comes out, and it's harder for me to stream PC games just because I mean that's a big tax on the PC if I'm streaming a game and also playing it on the same machine. So I downloaded it on Game Pass on my Xbox and I loaded it up and I was like, I'd like to stream it as New Game Plus when I do get to that point later this year if the rumors are true and Fallen Order 2 is coming out this year.
And Jeff Grubb we trust.
In Grub we trust. And so I've been playing through. I've been kind of like blazing my way through Fallen Order 2, or Fallen Order to get to the point where I can play it again later this year on stream as a New Game Plus because I don't have it as New Game Plus on console just yet.
And died a Trilla like 20 times.
I might drop the difficulty on that. I have been playing it on Grandmaster difficulty. I just made it to. I started earlier this week. I'm on Dathomir.
Okay.
I just made it to Dathomir, so I'm almost done. Fuck Dathomir though.
Yeah. Especially when you go right after Bogano. Just to get because you heard there's a double lightsaber.
Yeah. I waited. I was like, I'm not putting myself through that. I was like, I'll be okay.
I did not.
I was like, I'll be okay.
I toughed through it. My first playthrough in 2019.
Because there's a myriad of ways that you can get the double blade, and I was like, it doesn't take too long. I was like, I'll wait. I also got my wife playing Knights of the Old Republic. I busted out my physical copy for the Xbox. She's been playing more games, and we've been playing those together. We've been playing through Lego Force Awakens and Sea of Thieves, and now she's playing Knights of the Old Republic for the first time. Started that up last night, and that's been really fun. And because I was like, this is my favorite video game ever made. I turned it on tonight, and I'm like 3 hours deep into a new save file.
Nice.
I saved it like right before I jumped on here. As far as what I've been watching, I have not been watching the Halo Paramount show.
Same.
I watched the first episode. I don't really want to watch the second.
I watched the first episode and I refuse to watch anymore.
Doesn't feel like Halo, like at all.
No, not even a little bit. And I've seen bits of the second episode, and I was just like, yeah, no,
I'm good.
It's terrible. There are boobies in it though, which I gotta commend them for that.
I actually thought what are the people like the Arbiters people? What are they called? The aliens?
The Covenant.
Thank you, the Covenant.
Yeah.
I think they look good. Like I don't think the CG is that bad.
You know what? It's for what it is. Like what people are clowning on the way it looks.
Show.
I was like, it was always gonna look a
little goofy.
Yeah,
I think it looks. I think they look good. Like I was surprised by that. I was like,
aliens look good.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens look good. But yeah, you get all this stuff where there's a human living with the Covenant. Cortana is an illegal AI that the UNSC don't know about, maybe? Like, there's all this just super weird shit going on, and I'm just like, this fucking sucks. Chief takes off his helmet in the first episode. Yeah, they should have actually played the fucking game.
I was just gonna say, take some inspiration from the games.
Fuck me, dude. Like, it's so frustrating.
When they were like talking about how he's gonna take off his helmet, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be like a near the end thing, and they're gonna make it a huge moment.
I was initially against it. Yeah, if they'd waited until the last episode, I think it would have worked. And that's the frustrating part. If they had like Mandalorian did, where they made a big deal about him not taking off his helmet, and then he does later, dope. Mm-hmm. Instead, and like a half hour in the first episode, and I'm like, fuck you.
And it's the face we've all seen. Like we knew who that was.
Schreiber, yeah, like we know.
Who's ripped? Have you seen him? Holy!
Oh, he's fucking gigantic. He's a mountain of a man. And I all that said, I actually think Pablo Schreiber plays a great Master Chief, and it would have been cool to see him play that character in literally anything else. It's the best Mass Effect show I've ever seen.
I've been hearing a lot of people say that. It doesn't feel like Master Chief to me. Like the way like cinema has come, like we've seen main characters express themselves without talking all that much. Like, I feel like that could have been something they did, and they didn't play the game, so they didn't know that that was, like, a thing. Like, he is
No, but he
the
does.
one-liner person in my
He
opinion.
he talks way more in all of the Halo expanded universe stuff,
Okay, cool.
and like that characterization is pretty similar to like the novels and those sorts of things. So which is why I'm like, yeah, okay, Pablo, like I see you, like that's fine. It's
I mean,
still
so maybe that is me just putting what I wanted out of it. I think it would
sure,
have been
sure.
better if he was
I
talking less,
and I
I
agree
guess.
with you. I still think he should talk less overall.
Yeah.
Master Chief is better when he's silent.
Mhm.
Um,
Let his
but just
actions speak.
but just
I
no,
tried.
I gave it a
Wait
shot,
and binge
and
it.
I
Cool.
and then
Good to know.
it's dog shit. Um,
Which is very unfortunate for Paramount Plus because, like,
because that was their hook, man.
this is their golden
They
goose.
they
Yeah.
clearly dropped a lot into the marketing of the show, man. Something else I've been watching is an animated show called Smiling Friends, um, which I'm not particularly typically into, like adults animated cartoons, if you want to call it
Mm.
that. And it's outside of like Bob's Burgers. I love Bob's Burgers, and like I'm a millennial. I watched Family Guy as a teenager, like whatever. Um, Smiley Friends though is an Adult Swim show that is made by the crew. If you have heard of them, the Oni cartoons guys on YouTube. This is their show. It's literally an Adult Swim by Oni cartoons, and it's hilarious just in that it's this weird surrealist, like almost like nightmarish kind of humor. But I think the genius of it is that it is like super ridiculous humor, like any like
Mm.
adult animated show. But it's that the dialogue is genuinely really really good. The two main characters are guys they're called this who work for a company called the Smiling Friends, and they're supposed to like go out and literally just make people happy. Like that's kind of the goal. Only one of the characters is legitimately very happy, and everyone else that works at the Smiling Friends are like clinically depressed. It's hilarious. Um, but like every character in the show is almost made with like different animation styles. There's one that's rotoscope.
Oh, that's cool.
There's one character that's claymation. Sometimes they're hand animated. Sometimes they're flash. Like it's every character genuinely like looks different, but they make it work in a super super weird way. It's the show is bizarre. It's so strange. Some of the jokes in its own show are jokes specifically for the people that watched Oni cartoons on YouTube. Like it's just for
Mhm.
his fans. Some of them are just inside jokes with the writers that nobody else understands.
Yes, love it.
And it's brilliant. There's 6 episodes. You can get through it really really easily. It's so strange, and I love it for how strange it is. Like to the point where sometimes the joke is like they'll meet a character when they're talking to him. His arms he'll just kind of like have stubs, right? Like they'll do like he
Mhm.
doesn't have fingers. And then there's just one scene where he pulls out his phone and the camera like cuts to like him holding his phone, and he's got like the most detailed hands in the world as he pulls out his phone and turns around. And then when it cuts back out, he doesn't have hands again. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, dude, I love this shit. Like that's awesome.
Cool.
Or
I'm
just
into it.
stuff like that. One character pops up, like one character goes to hell in the middle of this like one storyline, right? And he, because he's got to go make the devil smile because hell froze over, you know. And so at one point he gets down there, and this demon is poking at one of the characters of like, and this is Jeremy, your only form of hellish entertainment. And he pops up and he goes like in the guy's face, and he goes, seriously, if you do that again, I'm gonna punch you. Like, don't do that again. 10 minutes later in the show, he's like, whew, I think everything's behind us. And Jeremy pops up again. He's like, and it's like, it's like, it's 2 frame thing, right? It's like 2 frames
Mhm.
per second. It's really, really fast. And he punches him in the stomach and he goes, "Ugh," and he doubles over and turns into like this 60 frame per second thing. It's the most realistic animation of somebody doubling over I've ever seen in my life. It's just visual jokes like that throughout the whole thing. That is fucking hilarious. It's the most millennial ass humor I've ever seen because it's like half of it's just screaming. Like I mean, it's just and it's super fast.
Dragon
It's
Ball?
so funny. And I was not ready for it. It's impossible to describe without just sitting down and watching an
Sure.
episode. Like, but
Okay.
it's bizarre and surrealistic and weird, and I love it. It's so funny. So highly recommend Smiling Friends. I really do.
I'm into it.
Do you know
Awesome.
where
And
it's
so,
streaming on?
I know it's on Adults. Hold on.
While he's looking that up, I did randomly start watching Danny Phantom again. That's my background show now.
Ooh,
I'm on
that's a good
episode
one.
like 7, and like I just I just tune in whenever, and I'm like, you know what,
Well.
it's fitting the bill. Like I like it. All right.
Mhm.
I wanted to see if there were other options there or not. It looks like Smiling Friends is exclusively on HBO.
Oh,
So
cool.
you can
I
watch
have
it on
that,
HBO
so.
now, HBO Max,
Sure.
whatever.
Oh, I forgot HBO
Cool.
Max had the Adult Swim thing. Like they have like
Yeah.
a whole
Oh,
segment or
yeah.
column
Duh.
to that.
That's where
Yeah.
I've been watching Rick and Morty.
And then they also have the like Ghibli films too, which is huge. Like
They
that's
do.
awesome. So good.
Mhm.
And Toonami, I believe now.
Oh really? They got a lot. HBO
Oh
Max.
no. No, I think that got taken with this new Crunchyroll deal. I take
Never
it
mind, I take it back. Fuck
Mhm.
you, HBO Max.
back. Take it back. No, never mind. I take it off.
Dragon
Except for
Ball
Winning Time.
and-
Watch Winning Time.
I'll say Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and GT are all on Crunchyroll. So
True.
You don't have to watch GT, honestly.
Yeah, you can super skip GT, and that's
Here's-
really fine.
Here's what I'll say about GT. The villains in GT are actually interesting.
Baby
Like,
Vegeta, dope.
yeah.
Canon wise, you don't need to watch it to like
No,
for
yeah, it's
story,
bad.
but like just watch some of the fights with the villains. They're kind of cool.
Watch till find a YouTube compilation or something.
Yeah,
E.
totally.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that has been Backlog Breakdown, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. What have y'all been playing recently? What have you guys been watching? We want to hear it. Come shout us out on Twitter, just individually, or the main account. Just be like, no context. Be like, I've been watching Bob's Burgers, and I'll be like, cool, good for you, man.
You'll forget.
Yeah,
You'll
just
forget.
add us.
I'll absolutely forgot. I'm calling this out. You can also drop a comment down below, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. But thank you guys so much. We're the Shared Screens Podcast. There's no act. I was about to do the waypoint thing, and we're not that anymore. And we haven't been for a long time. I don't know why I went there. Get away. We're done. Shoot.